So, you're thinking about a home project here in New Jersey? Whether it's a new deck or a full-blown addition, the whole process can feel like you're trying to navigate a total maze of permits and plans. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that complicated. In this explainer, we're going to give you the map to navigate it all step by step. You know those questions that pop in your head right away? Wait, do I even need a permit for this? Who am I supposed to call? How do I know this is all being done the right way? Trust me, you're not alone. Everyone asks these questions before they get started. Well, it turns out there's one single rulebook for pretty much everything. Whether you're building a tiny shed or a whole new house, it all falls under something called the New Jersey Uniform Construction Code, or UCC for short. Just think of it as the game plan that makes sure everything built in Jersey is safe and solid. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to walk through 6 key stages: understanding the code, applying for the permit, getting to know the people involved, navigating all those inspections, getting that final thumbs up, and, really important, knowing your rights and responsibilities. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, we've got to understand the rules of the game. So this UCC, what is it really? Well, at its heart, it's about safety. It's one set of rules for the entire state. So your local officials, your builder, your architect, everybody is working from the same playbook. And the whole point, the big goal, is just to make sure you end up with a safe home. Okay, you understand the code. Now what? Well, it's time to take that first big step, actually applying for the permit. So getting the permit isn't as scary as it sounds. It's basically a 4-step dance. First, you submit your application and all your plans. Then, the experts, they're called subcode officials, go over everything with a fine-tooth comb. After that, they'll give you a yes or a no. And once you get that yes and pay the fee, boom, you get your permit and you can start digging. Okay, so how long are you going to be waiting for that answer? Well, the law gives the local agency 20 business days to review a completed application. And yeah, I know, that can feel like a long time, but you got to remember, they're coordinating reviews from a bunch of different experts, building, electrical, plumbing, all to make sure your project is good to go right from the very start. All right, let's talk about a question I get all the time. Do I have to hire an architect? And the answer is, it depends. The cool thing is, if it's your own single-family house and you're going to live there, you can often drop the plans yourself. But for anything bigger or more complicated, yep, you're going to need a licensed New Jersey architect or engineer to sign off on it. And this isn't just some loophole. It's written right into the code. The rule actually gives the local construction official the power to accept plans drawn by you, the homeowner, for your own private home. I mean, think about that. That is a huge deal. It can save you some serious cash on those DIY projects you've been dreaming about. All right, next up, let's meet the key players. Knowing who's who is going to make your project run so much smoother. First, you've got the construction official. Think of them as the team captain for your town's code department. They're running the show, managing the inspectors, and they're the ones who give the final sign-off on your permit and that all-important final certificate. They're basically your go-to person at the town hall. So if the construction official is the captain, the subcode officials and inspectors are the specialists on the field. These are the licensed pros who know everything about building or electrical or plumbing. They're the ones who look at your plans and then actually come out to your house to inspect the work and make sure it's done correctly. Speaking of inspections, that brings us to the next and maybe most hands-on part of this whole thing. You know, construction isn't just one big job. It's really a series of steps, and each one needs to get a thumbs up before you can move on to the next. So you'll get the footing trenches inspected, then the foundation, then the framing, and you get the idea. The key thing here, and this is super important, is you absolutely have to get that approval before you cover anything up. So you've called for an inspection. Now what? You're not just left hanging. The rule says the inspector has 3 business days to come out and do the inspection. This is really designed to keep things moving so your project doesn't get stuck in limbo. Okay, this right here is probably the golden rule of the whole inspection process. I'm going to say it again. You cannot, under any circumstances, cover up work before an inspector has seen it and approved it. Don't pour concrete over the rebar. Don't put up drywall over the wiring. Not until you get that sign-off. If you ignore this, you're looking at stop work orders and a world of headaches. Just don't do it. All right, so you've made it through all the stages. You've passed every inspection. You can see the finish line from here. And that finish line is something called a certificate of occupancy, or a CO. This is the official piece of paper that says, job all done, everything is complete, it's up to code, and it's safe. And this part is absolutely critical. You can't legally use that new space. You can't move into that new addition until you have that CO. So when that CO finally lands in your hands, yeah, that's the moment to celebrate. It's the ultimate green light. It means your project is done, it's safe, it's compliant, and now you can finally actually enjoy it.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's quickly go over a few key things you absolutely need to know, things that will really put you in control of your project.
Look, at the end of the day, it's your project. So remember, you have the right to check your contractor's registration. You have the right to appeal a decision you don't agree with. And on the flip side, it's on you to call for inspections and to make sure a copy of those approved plans is always on the job site. Knowing both sides of that coin, your rights and your responsibilities, is what's going to make your project a success.
And I'll leave you with one last thing to think about. That certificate of occupancy. It means your project was built to code when it was finished. But what happens if something pops up years down the road? Well, for brand new homes, there are things like the new home warranty program that can protect you for up to a decade. So it really makes you think. The goal isn't just to build something that passes inspection today, it's to build something that lasts a lifetime.